Good morning or good evening, if wherever you are. Okay, so this is Bianca again. Today, I will be teaching you how to use salt. This is a rock salt. A regular rock salt, you don't have to think of anything. Okay, just a regular rock salt that you have in your kitchen. And also whitewash. Whitewash is an opaque paint that you can also use on top of watercolors. So that's what we have right now. All right, so today I will be using block. Oh, this is a watercolor block. This is Bao Hong Academy. This is a student grade paper. Academy, you can see Academy watercolor paper. This is 300 GSM and 100% cotton. So there, that's what I'm going to use for this tutorial. I chose bigger paper today because I want everyone to see what I am painting aside from using a small sheet of paper like the 5 by 4, 5 by 7 inches. So I will use this one, and maybe I will be using this for most of my tutorials. So there, this is a step-by-step process from start to finish. So if you are watching, if you are new to watercolors, this is good for you. If you are painting using a different medium, or you just want to watch and learn, this is good for you. So this tutorial is for beginners in watercolors. Okay, so for my paper, I'm using Bauhong watercolor paper. This is 100% cotton, 300 GSM. I won't take the paper down today because I am using a block paper. So when we say block, it means that all of the sides are glued. So there, I don't have to stretch my paper, and it has only just one part here that is not glued, so that you can take it off. After the painting session, I'll show you how I take off my painting. For the colors, we are going to use just three colors for today, and that would be purple, yellow, and Persian blue. The paints that I am using today is from Monyo. Monyo is a very vibrant paints. It says it's professional paints. It's 48 colors. It's a little bit overwhelming, but if you want to know these paints, it is good for beginners also. It has pros and cons. I will be uploading a video on my review of this. Actually, I had a review of this watercolor set 2 years ago, but I will be going to have an update on my review of this watercolor. So there you go. Of course, we'll be using 2 jars of water here. I have a pipette here to pre-wet my paint or activate my paint. So I will put water now to activate it while I'm talking. Okay, there. So again, I have Prussian blue, purple, and yellow. You could use any colors that you would like. For the brushes, I have flat brush. This is from Art Secret. Flat brush. This is a round brush. This Kolinsky brush size 12, and a small brush size 0. So you could use any brush that you have. If you don't have a flat brush, a big round brush will do. Also, I will be using a masking tape because I would like to divide the painting into two. For today's tutorial, you can see the reference photo on the description box, as well as the materials that I recommend. So I'll show you the first one. So this is the first night sky that we will be doing. So we will be playing around. This is a chill painting. No sketching needed. All right. So we don't need a pencil and eraser today. And this is the second one. So the night sky with mountain. So that's what we are going to do today. Okay, so before I start, I will be dividing my paper into two using this masking tape. Yeah, of course, my towel. I almost forgot my towel. I am using a towel instead of a paper towel or tissue. Okay, before if you're taping down your paper, this is a good trick that you can do to um, avoid sticking your tape too much on your paper and avoid ruining it. This works for me. If doesn't work for you, I'm sorry, but this one works for me. So what I do is I am removing some of the sticky residue on the tape first before I put it down on my paper. I do not use block that much. Hello, Melissa. Nice to see you here. All right. Okay, there you go. So I removed some stickiness here. All right, so there. If you're a mom, I am mom too of three boys. Okay, and if you like to chill, just relax, this is a good painting. Actually, for 2 weeks now, it's raining here in the Philippines, in the Luzon area. There. Okay. I think it's not in the center. I will put a little bit on the left first. You also use washi tape or anything that doesn't stick too much on your paper, but I avoid using scotch tape and also packaging tape. Okay, so I don't use like a painter's tape. I do not use that because this one works for me. Okay, whatever will work for you, that is fine. You don't have to spend too much on the materials. Okay, whichever works for you. Okay, so we to get that to get the effect of this galaxy or night sky, we will be doing wet on wet. So wet on wet will do is the watercolor will work for you. Don't have to work that much. Let the watercolor spread on your paper. Okay, and also if you are doing wet on wet, it is easy to edit what you are working on. So it's easy to remove or to lift colors. If you make mistakes, you can easily change anything. Okay, that's why I love wet on wet technique. Okay, so there, I will be wetting this part first. I will be doing the first painting here and the second one here. So I'll show you what it looks like when you use salt and the other one for the gouache. Okay, so this is a fun painting. You can do this painting with your kids. All right. This is a very chill painting. No sketching is needed. But if there would be any sketching needed, what I do, I also provide a sketching outline so you can just easily trace it. Because in watercolors, it doesn't matter if you are good at drawing. Drawing and your knowledge in drawing is actually good. It helps in painting, but it's not required all the time. Okay, especially if you like painting loose, that's fine. As long as you paint like or you draw like the big shapes, that is fine. Because in painting, what we look at is the painting itself, not the drawing, because the drawing or the pencil lines will be covered by your paint. So it doesn't matter. Okay. So some water goes to this side, and that's okay because it's all glued. So even if you paint on the sides, that's fine. So for wet on wet, it should be wet enough. It should be shiny, all right, but it should not be like puddling, all right. So that's good. So I will just let the water soak, all right? And then I will prepare my paint. So you could use anything. You could paint along, you could paint later, you could watch now and paint later, or you could just watch and learn. Okay. So this is the Prussian blue. Okay. Prussian blue is a staining color, especially indigo. Right. I like indigo so much, but it's staining. Also purple. There you go. You can also mix purple with any reds and blues that you have. You will get a very nice purple if you mix magenta and like turquoise blue. If you have that kind of color in your palette, that you can use it to mix and you will get a very nice purple. Okay, there you go. So it's still wet. I will just brush it a little bit with my damp brush. Okay, there you go. Right there, it's just nice shine. Okay, and I clean my brush and I will drop just a little bit of yellow here. I will tilt my paper. Okay, there you go. And I'll show you what it looks like when we put salt later. When we are going to put salt later, the paper should be damp, not wet. Okay, so there you go. You don't have to copy the reference photo as it is. Just play with the colors. Okay, I will put the blue here, the Prussian blue. All right, there you go. I tilt my paper going to the right so it will flow. All right, you can see how beautiful the paint when it's flowing, right? And this is the reason I fell in love with watercolors. Okay, if you see that there is like like it's dry here, well, it will leave you a hard edge. So what I do, I use a spray bottle to spray it and wet the paper because it means that that part of your paper is dry, and we do not want to have a hard edge on your paper. All right. So this is just chill painting. So this kind of painting will let you get to know your materials, will let you know get to know your paints, how it is working with you. Okay, you can see that this is a little bit dry here. So what I do, I will just spray. I do not use a spray bottle anymore for wetting my paint. I use it only for just like that. Spraying spraying on my paper, especially when it's get dry or it's drying, but you need to work on your painting. So I will put the purple here. You can tilt your paper on any position that you would like and let the watercolor flow. There we go. And next week we will be painting loose sunflowers. I posted a calendar also on my Facebook page and also on the community page on my YouTube channel, so you can check it out. Okay, and I will just let this flow. There you go. Of course, watercolors will dry a little bit lighter. Okay, so you can add more of your paint. All right, and just let the watercolors flow. Okay, So we'll leave it like that. So this part is drying. I will put salt here. Okay. I remember when and whenever I see questions in Facebook groups about what salt they are using, they're thinking too much of which salt. Okay, I know there's different types of salt, but don't think too much. You could use a regular table rock salt that whatever you can find. Okay, this is what we have in the kitchen. I didn't use iodized salt because it is too small. It's hard to manage. For me, it's better if it's a little bit bigger like this. Some parts of the paper are still wet, but you'll see later once it's dry what the effect of the salt. All right, there you go. If you are working on a big painting and you have a night sky, this is also good that you could do. All right, so there you go. I put salt everywhere here and I will let this dry. Okay. And while waiting for it to dry, I'm going to work on the next painting here. Here, the next one. Okay, there you go. So before that, I will just add more paint here on my mixing pad. I'm using a ceramic plate because for me it's easy to mix colors here. And if you ran out, it's easy to get the same color mixture that you did earlier than using a plastic or a tin. Also, I use a tin and in time it will rust. So I do it like that. It also, yeah, as I mentioned, I it's hard to get the right mix of the colors if you are using tin or plastic. Aside from that, what happens is that we are like um it makes it it doesn't mix all the time. If there are some like bubbles or whatever or puddles that I don't understand. Okay. And I don't like that on my mixture. So there. So here I have purple. You could try to mix any reds or blues that you have to get purple. All right. Last time, I actually made a review of the Daniel Smith Essential set, and it's nice to have the quinacridone rose mixed with phthalo blue and phthalo blue green shade, and I got a very nice purple for the lavender. Okay. Sometimes you will be surprised on what colors you will get in mixing colors. Okay, so in this part of the painting, we will be doing the night sky with the mountains, and I will be using a white gouache. A gouache is an opaque paint that you could use on top of the watercolors. You could use also um, Dr. P.H. Martin. That's also a gouache. You could use any white paint that you have. I think you could also use acrylic, all right, or whatever you have. So this is Holbein Artist paint. This is just primary white. I do not use like glittery watercolors that much, especially if I am going to sell the painting. So, for this, but if you do not sell your paint, if you just hang it on your wall, it's okay to use anything that is not branded. But if you would like to use any glitters or glittery paint, you could use any that is branded. Okay, so before I will wet this paper, this side part, you will see here that the salt is already activating and it creates stars, right? Stars like or like cauliflower effect. There you go. If it's damp, you could also use water splatter around here. Okay, here you go. So I will wet this one first. I'll show you also what happens if you use a white watercolor paper. Oh, I'm sorry, white watercolor. Okay, because I do not use white on top of another color, because what happens is that the white watercolor won't stay white. So most artists, you will see that they are using gouache instead, because gouache is opaque, and white watercolor won't stay white. It will absorb the colors around it. I'll show you. And I have here, this is this is a handmade watercolor that I bought in a local store here in the Philippines. It's also good to on top of the paints, or sometimes for using details, like when I paint flowers or anything. I use also like glitter paints. Okay, there you go. So my paper here is wet. It's not puddling, it's just wet. Okay, you would see with a nice shine. Okay, so first I will put the purple here. This part I will tilt it a little bit and let the watercolor flow. Right. The reference photos are from Unsplash. If you are new to watercolors, do not just grab photos on Google or in Pinterest. Okay, use a royalty-free photos, because if you use any photos in Google and it's licensed, you will get in trouble. Okay, we do not want that. If you are good at taking photos, you're good. And if you have friends who are photographers, it is also good that you can ask them for photos if they will allow you. Okay, but most of the time, as for my experience, my photographers friends let me use their photos for reference for paintings. Okay, especially the nice places here in the Philippines. Okay, there. So I will just let the watercolor flow here and there. I won't think that much. Okay, so you would see here that the salt is already working. It's actually lifting some paints or moving the paints out. So what I do is I will get the paint, oh sorry, the salt using a dry brush. So this is a dry brush. For this part, I will just let it dry. Okay. You can use your fingers, but then it will be messy. Okay. So if you see that the paints are pushed with the salt, you can remove it, because if you let the salt stay there, okay, I don't think that there would be some paints remain there. So you could remove it. This is a fun painting. This is what you can do with your kids if you have kids. And or if you just want to chill, don't think too much. Painting night sky is a good way to relax. Okay, there you go. So for I will let this dry. I remove most of the salt. For this one, I will let it dry. Okay, and then, but I think I will be using my dryer, my heat gun, to let it dry faster, and because I don't want to waste your time waiting. Okay, one moment. If you have questions, you can put it in the comments. I am here. I'm just plugging in my heat gun. If you have any questions, just type in the comment section. If you are painting with me, whoa, that's good. You could also try out different colors in your palette. You could play along with the colors that you have. But I will put myself into mute because I will use heat gun. Okay, there. I dry this area. Okay, not dry yet in this part. Okay, one moment. Okay, there. It's flat, so it means it's dry. So that's how you would know that your painting is dry if it's really flat. Okay, I will just unplug my heat gun and plug my laptop again. Okay, there you go. So the next thing that we will do is we will be painting the stars here. So we'll be doing the stars first before the mountains because we don't want to put accidentally stars on the mountain. So that is the time that I will be using wash. I will be put some here. I rarely use wash because most of the time I just avoid painting on I just avoid painting on the areas that it should be be paint should be white, or sometimes I use masking fluid. There you go. And this is the time that you could use a small brush to make stars, because if you use a big brush, it will give you also big big stars as well, big splatters, and we don't want that. So for this, I will be wetting with my small brush with the size 0. Okay. But of course, we don't want to disturb the other painting. It's drying, so just cover it. If you have anything that is like your phone or or any important things on your table, just cover it and just splatter. Okay. You can also use the toothbrush. Sometimes I use toothbrush. Not the toothbrush that I use for brushing my teeth, okay, but just a toothbrush specifically for my painting that I do not use. I was actually looking for it earlier, but I can't find it in my drawer. But I used that last time. There you go. You could add more, a little bit more of water there. So small brush can give you small splatters. Okay, there you go. So you can see that I do. I'm not sure if you can see it when it's far away, but I will show you later. Okay, there you go. There it is. So you can see there are some white splatters now. Okay, I rinse my brush. Okay, then you can try white watercolors, but I don't think it will stay. Okay, now let's do the mountains. For the mountains, don't think too much. Okay, painting should be relaxing, not stressing you out. You don't have to copy the mountains that this is in the reference photo. What I do is I will just get the paint directly from my pan. Okay, there you go. So I will just paint the mountains. You could do any shape that you have that you would like. You don't have to copy as it is what you have there in the reference photo. So if you could see, but you could try to mimic the effect. Like here, I put more of the paint here to show that there are some rocks, and dry brush, because dry brush will help you create um, texture on your paper. That's why I dip my brush directly to my pan, to my pan. There, if it's too dry, you can wet it a little bit, just a little bit, okay? And I will put it here in my rug and get some of the paint directly from my pan and just paint the mountain. So there. I will put here, dark area here, but in some parts it will just be plainly like a dry brush. And that will help you to create texture on your painting. I will cover this part also like that. So this is easy and relaxing painting that you don't have to think that much. Okay, there. If you want to relax, this is one of my go-to paintings that I do aside from the roses. Okay, there you go. So so this one is finished, the one at the top, and this one too. But you I'll show you what it looks like if you use a white watercolor. So I will get white watercolor from my palette here from the Monyo. Okay, so I use only white for like pastel. If you would like to mix like pastel colors, you could use white. Okay, this is the plain white, the regular white, and this is the metallic white that I have in Monyo. Okay, and then I will take a picture of this first, and then I will upload it on my Facebook page also and my YouTube so that you can see how it looks like. There you go. That is with just white gouache. Okay. You can try on your own how it looks like with the white watercolors. Okay, so actually my water jars here are dirty, so I will just use a spray bottle instead in wetting my paint. Okay, so this is the white. I'm supposed to use a small brush. Okay, there you go. I don't think that I can actually see or show you a difference, but I will just um drop here some colors, and I will update every one of you on my Facebook page and also on my community page. So I will just put here some dots of the white watercolors, and I'll show you later. So this is just the white one, just a regular white watercolors. Here, I will put here the metallic pink. Okay, there you go. To show you the small ones, those are the gouache, and also the metallic paint from the homemade, or I mean handmade watercolors. Okay, that is not branded. Okay, there you go. And then I will update you later on what it looks like when it's dry. Okay, there you go. So our painting is finished. Okay, and if you did this painting, for sure you will have some paint in your hands, and that's fine because painting is fun, it's relaxing, all right? And then I will remove this tape. So I'll show you how to remove the paper from the block. Buying this paper block for the Bao Academy, it comes with a leaf blade. Okay, so you could use any flat, anything that is flat. Before I use a ruler. This is a flat ruler that I have that I use. I have also another flat ruler here. This one, these are the ones that I use in removing or taking off the watercolor block. Or you could use also a bread knife, anything that you can insert. Okay, so this is the part that you can insert. So you can see this, there's a mark here that's open. So you can remove easily your painting. There you go. Just carefully remove. All right. I know it's exciting to take off the tape or removing the paper out of the block. Okay, there it is. So it doesn't matter if you put like paint on the side because there's actually glue, so it won't have paints on the paper underneath. Okay, there you go. If you want to try this paper, you can also check the description box, also the events page on my Facebook page, and you can directly buy it from Amazon, or if you are from the Philippines, from Lazada. Okay, there you go. So we have these night skies, and I will put the photo of the finished painting. So before I end this tutorial, I will show you close. This how it looks like with the white watercolor. I'm not sure if you could see them, but let me get a pointer here. So here are the dots that I made. It's hard to see because it didn't stay white. For the metallic white that I use from the Monyo, it's still here because it's metallic. The same with the handmade white watercolor here. It's still here. For these ones, these are the wash that I put in. So it's either you will use metallic paints or you will use white wash for your night skies. For the salt, it happens to be like this. Yes, it's a quick tutorial. It is. And it's just as we don't want to think too much. All right, so it's done. I will cut this off. So here's the effect of the salt. Again, when you are going to put the salt, your paper should be damp, not too wet, and not dry, because in this part my paint is already drying, so you won't see any effect of the salt here, but you will see it here. Yeah, so that's only for my tutorial today, and next week we will be painting loose sunflowers. There you go. I'll see you next week, guys. Bye.